500,000 followers on Twitter. Meet Ashok Swain, Professor of Peace and Conflict Research.
Thank you. Thank you for coming and thank you for having me.
Why did you start using Twitter?
In 2009, a PhD student of mine told me that Twitter has come. I mean, they asked me if I know about Twitter. I had no idea, but then he explained that how I can really talk some things about my research and also my publications to wider audience I can spread. So then he actually helped me to open an account in the beginning, and I was more or less in the beginning, in the first several years, were only using the Twitter to talk about specifically and only about my own research and research publications.
And what happened next?
There are a lot of things changed in the world. There are many places the politics changed. It's not become as usual politics. Then the way rise of populism threatened the democratic liberal order. So I thought it is the time I can contribute to say some things. I also started writing in the media. Particularly, I started writing on the rise of populism in India and South Asia, as well as in different, US, in Turkey, in Ethiopia, you name it. But more, I started writing on that, and then with that, I also started commenting on the politics, as well as not only right-wing or the far-right politics, or rise of far-right populism, but also together with also my research. My research mostly the water conflicts, climate security, those issues too. So,
why did you choose Twitter to do this?
I have other accounts like in Facebook, Instagram. I have also in LinkedIn quite I mean, is around 5,000 to 6,000 followers in those accounts. But the Twitter, I wasn't in the beginning. I was a bit reluctant because it has a word limit, or the limit of what you can say, character limits. So I think that made me feel like that I am not saying things. But then I realized that the Twitter has an audience which I really need to work on, because Twitter had initially, you'll see there have been a number of journalists are also there, policymakers are there, and of course academics, besides the others. So I think what happened, the kind of message which I am giving, it's not only for the people, those who are following on the Twitter, but also if I can put that message to the journalists in different parts of the world and also to the policymakers, then I can directly influence or spread whatever the message I want to give. And that's why I decided to focus mostly on Twitter.
What does it give you to use Twitter as a researcher?
I think besides I have nearly 500,000 followers, that gives certain kind of importance, in a sense that what I say, it spreads, or it has I have an opinion that goes, I don't need to go or look for the journalists because they come to me what I want, what are my opinions on different subjects which I am doing research on, subjects which I have an opinion to make. So I think that is one thing which is important, that the Twitter takes out that kind of thinking, or what I want to say, to a much larger audience, and the audience which I would not able to reach. Like particularly if I say something about Brazil, or I say something about Ethiopia, or say something about Sri Lanka, I wouldn't have expected the kind of writings I have done which will reach that audience. And I think the other one will be the Twitter has also, in a sense, given me a purpose, that because I have been in academics for more than 3 decades. I have written several books, edited several books, published more than 150 to 200 articles, research articles. But that, if I look at it, take for example, I think in ResearchGate, the total reading of the all-time reading is around 120,000. But if whatever I'm saying on Twitter, every month at least 60 to 70 million people see it. So I think that says that, look, despite I being in Uppsala in my small office room or in my house, I can really put a message through to different parts of the world without any filter.
What are the disadvantages of using Twitter?
It's time consuming, of course it takes time because you need to be, because I have a verified account, so people know that also I am a professor at Uppsala University. That carries that what I say, I must think carefully what I say. I don't say some things which will not only pull down my name, but also the university name is attached to it. So I think that's what makes it, you need to be careful what you are putting across. The other thing which is that you are need to be, it takes away some parts of your peace in life because everyone has an opinion. I mean, even if I am a peace and conflict professor, but somebody who has nothing to do with the international politics or international conflict will give me a lecture on the Twitter that what I am, I'm talking about. And I must have that kind of patience to listen or to see that and not to feel bad about it. There are things which you get into sometimes controversy. Sometimes you say things which might not really work because there have been times that when you don't come right on your predictions, but then you have to accept it that you are not supposed to be always predict the right, I mean the correctly. So and then you accept and move on. So there are few things which will come across, but when I look at it, you have the kind of reach you have and the kind of swiftly you reach to the larger global audience, the kind of negatives comes with it, you can live with it.
Do you have any advice to other researchers who want to start using Twitter?
I think it's fun, but you need to enjoy it. You need to really like that what you are doing it has a purpose. Unless you enjoy what you are doing and you think that you are able to contribute to it, to this discussion, to this debate, the kind of ideas, the kind of research you are producing, it needs to have a larger impact. I would suggest that you should do it. Of course, it has disadvantages. You might be facing different types of threats, different types of challenges, but these are the things, if we will be always want to play safe, we will not able to contribute to whatever we are supposed to contribute to the world. If you think that you are doing right, you are doing whatever you are thinking you are doing right, then I think you should stick to it.